Welcome back to what will probably be the July update on Milton Mo Junction. As you can see, I'm concentrating this time on the road over the railway at the right side of the layout at this end. I had intended it to be a road that just went straight, but I'm having to change that. I mean, basically the way I'm thinking of this, it's a road that's been cut into the hillside where the railway goes underneath. Would have normally gone into a tunnel under the hillside, but a road was needed, so they expanded out and built a roadway which was purely sort of bridge, but it's built into the side of the hillside. So what I decided to do was, instead of the road going straight, because if you can see, I'm not sure it comes out on here, the road actually goes into bushes on the back scene and it doesn't really look very realistic. So, not that anyone will be looking at this angle, it's more up the other end, so it would be angled on sideways. But what I thought I'd do is I'd curve the road round to the right, which means that this area here, this corner, will be free to put foliage and bushes and etc., which will hopefully cover up where the road's going, so it won't be quite as blatant as driving into bushes, and it won't be as good covering as the car park that I did earlier where the road completely disappears. But I'm hoping from the angle that I run the railway, which is over to my left here, it won't show where the road's going. So that's what I've done. So far I've painted the road, sanded it all and made it look a bit worn, and there was a shaper sheet here, if you remember. I've now covered that with plaster bandage, so I'm just waiting for that to dry. I've painted or sprayed some girders, you can see here, which I'm going to glue on the front of the bridge, and I've also sprayed some, put the camera away a bit, some of these girder sides, and that's just the first spray. So I've done them in that sort of rusty red colour. I'm not sure what the final colour will be, whether I just weather those or whether I might try and doing that salt weathering and try another colour completely, but we shall see. Anyway, that's what I've done so far, so I'll come back when I've done a bit more. Okay, well, I've now completed the next stage. Obviously it started with a shaper sheet and then plaster bandages over the top of that. Then I painted the plaster bandages with the earth colouring, and I've now used Woodland Scenics materials to make a hillside. Rather than do cliffs at the sharp end, the steeper end where the road curves round, I decided not to muck around with rocks at this stage. I've just made it a very steep mud bank, really, where the makers of the road cut through the mud, and left it at that. I haven't finished, obviously. I've just this is the basics to make the background greenery, and I'll continue to work on it. Same as I'm just sorting out what to do with the road. I'll probably have it 3-lane on the straight and then close into a 2-lane, so I can narrow it as it goes around the curve, so it makes it easier for me to have a quite a narrow road as it goes around the curve, so that it matches the back scene a bit better, goes into sky rather than into bushes. So I'll continue on the greenery side and the designing, so I'll show you when I've done the next bit. I've continued on with the building of the bridge and associated bits and pieces. As you can see, I've built the girders, or painted the girders and put them in position. I did this with the salt method of weathering. Basically what I did is I sprayed the girders, the plastic girders, with Halford's primer, a reddish sort of primer. Once they were dry, I sprayed them with cheap hairspray, and the wetness of that, while they were still wet with the hairspray, I sprinkled them with salt crystals, let that dry. Once that was done, I sprayed them with a blue spray, scraped off the salt crystals, which left the sort of markings of the red underneath. Looks like rust. I then added weathering powder to dull it all down, and a bit of extra rust with the weathering powder, and that's how it's ended up. And obviously most of you know how to do the salt method anyway, so can't really teach you much about that. So that's done. I've also curved the road round. I don't know if you can see that I've put in crash barriers and curved it round. It makes the road narrow as it goes into the back scene, but that's quite a good idea really, because it gives perspective. I mean, obviously a road always gets narrower as you look at it in the distance, and that's ended up with quite a good scene as it curves around. As I say, it gets narrower, so it doesn't actually disappear into bushes, it disappears into sky, which is the effect I wanted. I've also done a little bit more work on the scenery, a bit more bushes, and reasonably happy with that. I'll probably leave it at that. What I've got to do next is I'm going to put bushes all in that corner up there on the road, put some scenery there. I've got to do the white markings on the road, and then apart from putting the vehicles and everything, that this little end's then finished. So I'll come back when I've done a little bit more work. For the time being, I've done with the road. I know some of the road markings are probably not right, but they suit my purpose, and they look okay as far as I'm concerned. I've built that corner up, as you can see now, and I'll probably put some more traffic on it. And as I said earlier, or I've mentioned in the past, I'm going to have some sort of scenario with a car crash, but I haven't got the necessary emergency vehicles at the moment, so I'm leaving that for the time being, and when I purchase some I'll set up the scene, but in the meantime I'm going to leave it at that. As I say, I'll put some more vehicles on, because there'll definitely be a hold up after the accident anyway, so I'll have a lot of vehicles queuing at some point, so I'll leave it at that for the time being. Just doing this short end to the video, I was intending to ballast the remaining track that you can see, the main lines in front of us, but I've painted the concrete trunk in, so that's ready to be laid. It's just that I don't think I've got time to do it before I go away, so some other things have cropped up that I've got to get done. So I was intending to do all that ballasting and trunk inlaying and the points all down and set, and then finishing this video, but as I say, I don't think I've got time to do that, so I'm going to put the video up as it stands, and show you the next video what it looks like with the completed track, but that will be a few weeks time. Okay, so thanks for watching, and bye for now, and obviously comment if you have anything to ask or say, and subscribe if you wish. So bye for now, bye.